Happy holidays from Legacy Studios in East Liverpool. Brenda and her sister Paula. Look at this, folks. Is this an incredible tree? They are both dear friends of Jimmy Joe Savage. Brenda actually works here, and you know, Jimmy Joe does all sorts of great things. You know, those pictures, especially for the holidays. If you're thinking anything, think Legacy Studios here in the heart of East Liverpool. And you know, one of the main heartbeats of Hollywood is the holiday season. It really gives people a chance to go and spend time with family and friends and a big box of popcorn and kick back and relax and, you know, just kind of de-stress a little bit, because it can be a very stressful time. And it's always a way to kind of relax and kind of catch your breath, especially with everything and all the hustle and bustle. And nobody provides a better big picture about what's happening on the silver screen than John Mowat on the movies. He's been doing it for years on News Radio 1020 KDK, and tonight he joins me on our Comcast and AT&T entertainment line to talk all about what's coming up at the movies for your holiday season. So let's head inside and go to work with John Mowat. Happy holidays from Legacy Studios in East Liverpool. And yes, it is time for Hollywood in the movies with John Mowat on the movies. But a quick note, Jim Nabors has passed away at the age of 87. For many years, of course, the Andy Griffith Show, and of course, Gomer Pyle, USMC, and his dear friend, the great Carol Burnett, is going to be celebrating a huge milestone on CBS television coming up this weekend. So I wanted to take time to talk about the great comedic actor who also starred in Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, Stroker Ace, and yes, when a baritone was needed, he was the go-to guy, an incredible talent. Jim Nabors, survived by his spouse, and of course, the age of 87, he will be missed. And Rance Howard, who of course, Ronnie Howard's dad, starred with him many years, Ronnie Howard as Opie, in that great show, the Andy Griffith Show. So thoughts and prayers go out to Ron Howard and the loss of his father, which we've been talking about, and also the passing of Jim Nabors. And speaking of Ron Howard, that's where we begin. The space epic, the follow-up of The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi from Lucas Productions and Walt Disney Pictures. It'll be released worldwide December 15th. John, The Last Jedi is going to be a boffo box office hit.
Oh, it's one of those movies. It's more of an event, Rob. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. You know, this movie is a continuation of the Star Wars saga. This one's a little bit special. A couple things take place here. Of course, you have Daisy Ridley comes back as Rey. You have John Boyega as Finn. Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. So you've got all this cast of characters, but you also have Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher's last movie. And the funny thing about Carrie Fisher was she was known, obviously, as Carrie Fisher, but she was also known as a script doctor. She was one of Hollywood's finest script doctors. Movie productions would call her up and ask her to come in and help punch up their scripts. And she did this on a regular basis. And she actually did it with this film. She was brought in by George Lucas, of all people, to punch up this script, and she did some work on it. So not only is her last film, but she did some work writing the film as well. And then you also have stars like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Oscar Isaac, Benicio del Toro, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy plays a simple stormtrooper. So it's an amazing film. It's going to do amazing at the box office. It's just another example of why this film and this series of films does so well over so long a period of time.
Agatha Christie Reboot. I saw it many decades ago. It's back again. Murder on the Orient Express, a good old-fashioned whodunit, starring a number of great talented people, including one of the best, Johnny Depp. Murder on the Orient Express, John.
Yeah, it's Agatha Christie, and you know, so many of us are familiar with the story based on her novel, Murder on the Orient Express. And what this was about, it's the detective. It's the detective that she's written a number of novels about, Hercule Poirot. And he's in the Middle East, and he's working on some crimes. He's doing his job, and he gets called back home, and he's going to take the Orient Express to go back home. But he's going to make it a little vacation. He's going to relax. He's going to take some time off. But as luck would have it, the train gets stuck in an avalanche in the mountains. It's the Orient Express, a train that goes from Turkey to Eastern Europe. And on that train is a murder. And like you said, Johnny Depp plays a gangster as part of this film. And the detective, played by Kenneth Branagh in this case, he goes about interviewing, the number of people that are on this train, the character. So it's a character study, and he does his job, and he gets to the bottom. So if you like this kind of films, Rob, where, I mean, we know the more Murder on the Orient Express, but this one's finely acted, beautifully shot, and it's one of those movies you just sit back, let the movie play, and be entertained.
All right, Justice League. Ben Affleck back as Batman, and he teams up with such greats as Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and many others. Tell me about Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League. You know, DC Comics, their movies haven't found that solid footing that Marvel movies have found. But this is an attempt to come back, and what they're really doing is they're riding on the waves of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman kind of did really well last year, and it's something that Ben Affleck couldn't bring the Batman series up to that kind of par. But people are going to go to this movie to see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. So you do have Ben Affleck as the Cape Crusader. You have Jason Momoa as Aquaman. You get the Flash. You get a number of these DC characters. And another reason why people might go is the last Batman film, Batman versus Superman, saw Superman, come to this horrific end. And there's some clues as to maybe, Superman make an appearance, and you have to go see the film to find out how they put this together. So it's a superhero film. It's DC. It's a little bit darker than your other films, but it's if you like that type of hero action film, it's a good movie for you to see.
All right, Thor Ragnarok. It's the latest in that series. So tell me about this latest adventure featuring that superhero Thor.
Yeah, this is Marvel. So this is the other side of that coin, Rob. And the Marvel films, a little bit brighter. Thor, they add as much comedy as anything else to the Marvel movies, and this one's really good. You have Chris Hemsworth coming back as Thor, his brother Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, and Kate Blanchett. Let me tell you something about Kate Blanchett in this film, Rob. She plays Hela, and she's a villain. And in these films, these superhero universe films, she's one of the best villains I've seen, probably next to the Joker in the old Batman film, played by Heath Ledger. She's that good. So it's a really good film. You can go for the action, you can go for the comedy, you can go for the acting. It's just a really good film, put together very well.
Last one before we take a break and come back and talk about the new Denzel Washington movies. Again, Mowat on Movies. John Mowat joining me Monday night, December 18th on News Radio 1020 KDKA. It is Wonder. It stars the incredible talent of Julia Roberts, Owen Wilson, and it's got a story with a deep meaning. Tell me about the movie Wonder, and then we'll take a break.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's Julia Roberts, Owen Wilson, but it's newcomer Jacob Tremblay. And what he does is he plays this boy, August Pullman, and it's based on the New York Times bestseller Wonder, and it's about this young fifth-grade age boy, August Pullman, who's born with these facial deficiencies. So he's different, but his parents are, set on getting him mainstream to become part of society. He's smart, he's funny, but he goes through these challenges. And, in our society, when people look a little bit different, sometimes they have to go through some real trying times to see themselves to the end. And this is one of those movies, Rob, where you'll laugh, and you got to bring a box of Kleenex because you'll cry as well.
I cry every day anyway, so that's all good. Ladies and gentlemen, he is John Mowat, Mowat on the Movies. We'll be right back. Good evening.